I don't want to do either of those things.
Yeah, but if you had to, though. We set the scene, we have a choice. We must decide on the correct answer. I'm Kyle.
And I am Nathan.
And this is If You Had To, though. This week's episode's brought to you by the letter A.
What? Pie or anaconda?
A for anaconda.
Yes.
Is that our first fact of the episode?
Well, this show is brought to you by the letter A, and A is for anaconda.
That's two facts in one.
We're really digging the barrel for facts here, Kyle.
Yeah.
And that is the best place to find facts, in a barrel. That's another fact.
I like double stuffed facts. A fact stuffed within a fact.
That's an American fad, isn't it? Like, we just had normal facts, and then the Americans brought in double stuffed.
Double stuffed, triple stuffed, even. Then the thing is, the Americans
It's when you wedge a fact in between two other facts, and then you put it in a sandwich.
You make a fact sandwich.
Yes. Oh no, that's brilliant. I want to like be having like a debate with someone and say, I'm about to give you a fact sandwich, and then I hit them with this hard truth.
In the first minute of this episode, we've coined a new phrase. Fact sandwich means to put a fact in between two facts.
It does.
To make a fact sandwich.
And in practical terms, that means...
So if you're in a debate, heavily in debate with someone, as you usually are, say you're on a forum or something.
Yeah, usually, debating the important topics of the day, like what colour is a goose?
Yeah. So you're discussing what colour a goose is. Someone will say, a goose is white.
I think you'll find, Carl, it's goose eyes.
Ah, goose eye. The goose's eyes.
What colours are a goose's eyes? Now that is a debate.
There you go. Maybe that's what it is. You just one up whatever the person said. So you up their question, maybe. Although that's not a fact sandwich anymore, is it? That's a question sandwich. That doesn't have the same ring to it.
It doesn't a query sandwich, no. A query.
I like that, a query sandwich or a query lunch.
A query lunch.
A query brunch.
I was trying to think of a word that began with Q that could be used with query, but
a query quesadilla.
I was going to say quiche. That's spelled with a Q, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was it spelled with a K?
No, it is a Q.
Was it spelled with a C? Was it spelled with a W? A silent W? We'll never know, Kyle.
So anyway, the premise of this show is that we create scenarios for each other resulting in two possible outcomes. We'll discuss each outcome's pros and cons and decide definitively on the correct answer.
Yes, 100% truthful fact. And we know, in this time of need, this is what the world needs most. Two blokes discussing situations.
Yeah, and coining new terms like fact sandwich and...
something you can use in your day-to-day life. Whenever you're arguing with your parents about, is an egg a vegetable, then you can throw a fact sandwich at them.
You can. This is the show that gives you all the fact sandwiches you want, all the quiches, all the query quiches.
No, Kyle. A quiche query is very different than a query quiche. A query quiche is specifically about the query.
Yeah.
Whereas a quiche query is a query specifically about quiches.
Quiche. It's very hard to say query quiche or quiche query.
It is very hard to say.
You want to say kiwi? Ooh.
That's definitely not spelled with a Q.
No, but it's got a nice ring to it. What could we have as a kiwi? I think we're going a bit off topic. We haven't started any scenarios yet.
A kiwi conundrum.
A kiwi conundrum. Amazing.
I mean, that's what... forget the whole two scenarios thing, Carl. This is the show now. Just naming new things.
So what have we invented? The fact sandwich, the query quiche, and the...
Kiwi conundrum.
And the kiwi conundrum.
Doing onomatopoeia, apart from fact sandwich, which is just randomly...
It just sounds good in the mouth, doesn't it? The fact sandwich.
It does. It sounds good in the mouth. That is a quote. If this was a DVD, Kyle, that would be the quote on the back of the DVD. Sounds good in the mouth.
Fact sandwich. Sounds good in the mouth. Kyle Bennett. So, Nathan, this week you were sleeping peacefully in your Super Ted bed.
That sounds like me.
And you were having a lovely dream. I don't know what you were dreaming about.
Probably kiwis.
You were dreaming up new quotes and phrases, ready for today's podcast.
That's where I get most of my ideas, Kyle. I wake up in the middle of the night. Aha! I should attach a bear to a rocket.
And that's literally what happens. You wake up and you say, aha! And you're just about to say that. I'm going to attach a bear to a rocket when a bag is pulled over your head.
Oh dear!
Yeah, a string is tightened around it, and you are bonked on the head, and you pass back out again.
And then this isn't more of the rough stuff with dominatrix Betty.
Could be. You don't really know yet. So you go back into your dream world. And then when you come to, you hear a motor running, you feel a lot of turbulence, and the bag is slowly pulled off of your head. And to your horror, you see, well, first of all, you see a very glorious moustache.
I mean, that wouldn't be to my horror, Kyle. That's the kind of thing I dream about anyway. Quite happily, I would dream about a glorious moustache.
Yeah, you're fine with it straight, first of all, because it is such a glorious moustache. But attached to this glorious moustache is a very wise beyond his years looking teenager. And sitting on his shoulder is a rabbit in a waistcoat.
Oh, okay.
Nathan, you have been kidnapped by two of your biggest nemesises. Your two biggest enemies.
Oh.
Yeah, your two biggest enemies, Mr. Winters and Cornelius Whiskers.
Oh my god. The Whiskers and Winters team up.
Yeah, this is the Whiskers Winters team up that everyone's been begging for.
Oh my god, what a dastardly duo.
Now, for people who don't know, Mr. Winters is Nathan's next door neighbour, and Cornelius Whiskers is a rabbit.
He's my cantankerous next door neighbour.
A cantankerous next door neighbour. And Cornelius Whiskers is a talking rabbit in a waistcoat who Nathan kidnapped and forced into a war against orphans. So I think everyone's caught up there.
I feel like you're not painting me in the best light with that story, Carl. You need to tell it differently. I attacked a small animal and forced it to help me kill a bunch of children. There. That's much better.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right.
I won't have you slandering my good name.
So, Mr. Winters looks at you and you think, oh, not old young Mr. Winters.
Old young Mr. Winters.
My 18-year-old next door neighbour with a glorious moustache who's very wise beyond his years.
He is so wise. That wisdom really hooks me.
And you thought that you were square. I mean, you stole his newspaper that one time.
He sent a naked picture of me to my mum. I mean, I did annoy him by next week, all of our listeners coming over to my flat naked in my garden.
Yeah, but I think, you thought that you were all square. You thought you were friends, sort of, or at least acquaintances. But he looks at you and he says, Nathan, last weekend I saw you walk past my house and accidentally knock over my garden gnome.
Oh dear. What was the garden gnome called?
Clarence. And you didn't stop to even pick it back up. Now, me and my good friend here. And then Cornelius Whiskers looks at you and he says, aha, my friend. You have fallen into our trap. You thought you could use me as a slave to help kill all of your orphan enemies, but no! I have broken free, and now I have teamed up with the cantankerous Mr. Winters in order to teach you a lesson.
So how did they meet?
They actually met on a dating app.
It's an unlikely love story. That's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's an unlikely love story brought together through their hatred for you.
I didn't know there was a dating website specifically devoted to people that hated me.
Yeah, they were the only two on it.
I was going to say, actually, it seems like there's quite a wide demographic for that. There's a target audience is being missed off, all my enemies.
Mr. Winters is driving the plane, and Cornelius Whiskers grabs you.
I forgot I was on a plane.
Yeah, you're all tied up on this plane, and Cornelius Whiskers kicks open the door, and he holds you out above the clouds.
Did you say Mr. Winters is flying the plane?
Mr. Winters is flying the plane, yeah.
Okay.
And Cornelius Whiskers is holding you out above midair.
Well, that's a strong little bunny rabbit.
He's been working out.
He's really jacked.
He is now. Like, when you last met him, he was this frail, weak rabbit who was just a little waistcoat. He was a little nerdy rabbit, really. But now, he is buff. He's even got tattoos.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what attracted Mr. Winters to him.
What has he got a tattoo of?
It's just one of those cheesy mum tattoos. M-O-M.
So I'm being held out of a plane by Cornelius Whiskers while Mr. Winters is cackling, flying the plane.
Cackling maniacally, I would say.
Well, with a moustache like that, it can't be any other kind of cackle.
Cornelius Whiskers says, "You have a choice, my friend."
I mean, I don't really consider them friends. I disagree with this premise. But this is what I was thinking, but I was like, it's not the time to tell this little rabbit that's holding me up in a plane that I don't think he's a friend.
Yeah, because then things are going to get even worse for you. So, he says, "You have a choice, my friend. There are 2 islands below us. The island of digital media zombies or the island of personal space invaders." He straps a parachute to your back. And he's like, because they don't want to kill you.
No. I mean, otherwise it would make no sense of there being 2 different islands. Can there be a choice of which island would you rather crash into and die?
Exactly. They just want to get rid of you. They want to put you on one of these 2 islands that are out in the ocean in the middle of nowhere. So you've got the choice now. You can either be dropped down onto the island of digital media zombies, which is an island filled with people who just cannot leave their phones. They are zombies, but they won't eat your flesh or anything. But if they do come near you, you will turn into one of them.
Oh.
So there's no signal on the island. So they're constantly wandering around, holding their phones, holding them up to the sky, trying to get signal.
There's nothing on their phones. There's not even anything distracting or entertaining. No videos of rabbits strip teasing.
Definitely no videos, no.
Oh, man.
They might have Whirlybird on their phone. Or Snake, yeah. This island of digital media zombies are just wandering around, looking at their phones constantly. And there are places to try and hide on the island, but they're constantly wandering around, so it'll be quite dangerous there.
I'd have to be constantly moving to escape them. I could never find one place to hide and stay there.
Yeah. But then there's the island of personal space invaders. Now, on this island, there are people covering the island.
This isn't an island filled with people playing Space Invaders personally. It's a different kind of island.
Unfortunately not. It's an island of people. It's a tribe, basically. And they don't have any concept of personal space. If they see you and want to talk to you, they will come up to you and they will be inches from your mouth, talking to you, breathing in your face.
That sounds unpleasant.
Yeah, and they might not have the best of breath, a lot of them. It's an island, obviously, so they don't really have toothpaste, or it's a tropical island. It's not like...
Right. Yeah, your logic there didn't quite work, Carl. We live in England, and that's an island. We have toothpaste. Islands don't equal no toothpaste. I don't quite follow your maths there.
First fact for the episode: islands do not contain toothpaste. It's banned on most islands. So there you go, Nathan. There's your choice for the episode.
I see. And I'm going to fall out of this plane no matter what. They're going to throw me out, and it's a matter of which island I'd rather parachute into. But
yeah.
Because I've got the parachute, I can guide myself to one of these islands.
One of the 2 islands, yeah.
And I've been told by Cornelius Whiskers and Mr. Winters which island is which.
Yeah, they basically pointed them out. He pointed them out with his little paws.
And then Mr. Winters pointed out with his little bony fingers.
His frail, bony teenage fingers.
As he then did a loop-the-loop in the plane, going, "Radical."
Yeah.
So one island
yeah.
is filled with mindless zombies that do nothing but look at their phones all day. There's nothing on their phones. There's no signal. They're not talking to anyone.
I mean,
they're not talking to each other.
I think they want to be doing something on their phone. They just can't. So they're constantly trying to find signal.
Right. So they're constantly searching for signal, but they never give up. They never go, "Oh, the phone's not working. I'll put it down." And they don't talk to each other. They're just wandering around, bumping into each other, bumping into things, just looking looking at the phones constantly.
Yeah, they definitely don't talk to each other. They would be talking to each other on their phones if they could.
But they can't.
But they can't even do that.
And if I landed there, if I got too close to one of them, I'd become one of them.
You would become one of them, yeah.
And I wouldn't be able to talk to any of them. They wouldn't be able to communicate with me because they can't do anything but look at their phones.
Yeah, you wouldn't have much of a relationship with people at all. I mean, you could try and kidnap one and set up a little home for you two, but they wouldn't really pay any attention to you. They wouldn't even know you were there, really. And
so
then
if I took one away from a phone, it would just collapse.
It would just stop functioning. It would just shut
down.
Whereas
the island of personal space invaders, I'd have plenty of people to talk to.
Oh, everyone would want to be your friend. Literally everyone on the island. They love newcomers.
I mean, this is the most popular I've ever been in my entire life.
You will be incredibly popular, but these people are very annoying, unfortunately.
If you want to have a conversation with someone, you have to stand right in front of them, or they sit in your lap.
Yes, definitely they sit in your lap. Put their arms around your neck.
They have these small huts where 10 people live together all at once.
Oh,
basically lying on top of each other. Not sexually, just lying on top of each other.
Yeah, they share...
Armpits in your face.
Oh, definitely. They all share one big bed. Well, not even a big bed, it's quite small. But they all cram in there.
And they go to the toilet together. They have toilets that are specifically designed for multiple... They have this one big toilet that multiple butts can sit on.
Yeah.
And vice versa for the ladies, and whatever weird stuff goes on in women's toilets, whatever voodoo magic happens there.
Yeah, we can only ponder the mysteries of a woman's toilet.
No, it's one of the most mysterious places in the universe. It's it's like searching for the Higgs boson, exactly like that. But so basically the choice is between a life of complete isolation where everyone around me is oblivious and unable to communicate, or a life of constantly being surrounded by people and never ever having personal space or freedom.
Yeah, basically. So isolation, apart from the fact that you can see these people wandering around, but they're not really there. They're not really anything at all. They're just mindless things. They're not even as entertaining as having animals on the island.
Are there no animals on the island?
On either island, there's no animals exist.
Oh, man!
I know. Mr. Winters and Cornelius Whiskers really wanted to punish you.
And there's no orphans on these islands?
No, nothing to kill, nothing to hunt.
Oh, man, what am I going to do with my time?
Exactly. I mean, if you lived on the zombie island, how would you set up a base? How would you try and live?
Oh, I think as we established, I can't set up a permanent base. I would have to basically gather all my belongings with me. It's an island, but there's no animals. Are there, like, plants and things I can eat?
Yeah, there are trees with, I guess, pineapples, bananas.
So I'd have to gather together like some fruit and some food in basically one of those handkerchief on a piece of stick. The classic. Is that what they're called? Again, Carl, you know the name of things.
I am a walking dictionary.
I just know it as a handkerchief on a stick. Yeah, I'd basically have to do that, and I could never remain in one place for long. I would have to set up very temporary lodgings. I would have to set up a bunch of twigs protect me from the rain. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, if you could build something that was really good and fortified, you could stay in there as long as you didn't need to go out to get anything.
No, cause I think the zombies would break through. I think individually it would be strong enough to protect me from them, but all together they would break through because they're constantly searching for signals, so they're always trying to get to other places. If there's anything in their way, they will claw their way through it. Because on the other side of that thing, there might be signal. Yeah,
exactly. So, you would be a constant life on the run, I suppose.
And if any of them grabbed me, I would then become one of them, completely unable to think, unable to do anything but stare at a phone.
Yeah. Not that this is a comment on modern world or anything.
No, this is just a random event that absolutely happened to me in real life.
It's not a backhanded insult by me, no, not at all.
I mean, I'm not talking to you right now through my phone.
So the other island, there would be no isolation whatsoever. You would never have a moment to yourself. They'd
constantly be asking me questions. They'd constantly want me to talk to them as well. There's never be you could never have a quiet moment. You'd always be talking to someone.
Yeah, you want to sit down.
They move around in groups. So like a group of 10 people will come up to you and they'll all want to talk to you at once, and then they'll move away and another group of 10 will come over to me, and basically that for forever.
Yeah. I mean, you want to sit down and read a book. Someone's going to be reading it over your shoulder. Another person's going to be in your ear. What's this book about? Hey, Nathan, what's this book about? Tell me
what's going to
everything.
happen next.
What's the sentence you're currently reading right now, Nathan?
Oh, I mean, this definitely isn't a comment on anything that's happened to you personally, is it, Carl?
Not at all, no.
How do you, I mean, I was going to say, how do you come up with these things? But obviously, I just tell you what happened to me. That's how
and then I tell it back
things.
for the audience. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. It's a weird format we've set up here where I tell you a story and then you tell it back to me.
Yeah.
But there's no time to talk about that now. Our strange format decisions.
Yeah, you're in a predicament. You're about to be thrown out. I mean, you have just been thrown out of the aeroplane, I think.
I have just been thrown out. I'm currently free falling. I'm about to.
Mr. Winters is doing his backflips in the air, laughing
on his skateboard.
What? No, he's in an aeroplane, you fool.
He's on a skateboard in an aeroplane.
Of course.
And he's painted fire on the side of the aeroplane to make it go faster.
Oh yeah.
And Cornelius Whiskers is doing a little jig, a little happy dance.
Yeah, he's jigging away. They are thrilled that their plan went off without a hitch.
So I am falling right now. I'm about to pull the parachute cord, but I need to direct my body in one direction. Oh, that is tricky.
I mean, and there's just water around for hundreds of miles, so you couldn't even swim back. No.
Having to constantly escape, move away from these zombies, never being able to communicate with any of them. Having nothing to do, no one to talk to, would be pretty distressing.
Yeah.
Again, not like we're pulling these experiences from anything real. Whereas being surrounded by people constantly, people breathing onto you constantly, and having no personal space, hands crawling all over my face. That sounds rather terrifying.
I mean, you're walking along the street, just wanting to have a nice quiet walk. Either side of you, someone's got their hand in your pocket.
My pocket, I was going to say, Jesus. And like when you eat meals, they're eating the same thing with me. Like I've got a big clump of, like a big chicken's leg, and they're biting the same
They're
chicken
biting
leg.
that. I mean, if you've got a plate of food, it's shared between everyone, and everyone's picking off the plate.
It's not even picking off the plate. It's the same thing I'm biting into.
Yeah.
Like Lady in the Tramp. We're all eating the exact same piece of food.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically
all
kissing.
Drinking out of one cup. With straws.
You're basically kissing you're all on this one chicken leg, and their lips are basically pressed against yours.
Oh man, I mean, I introduced that idea, but you really took it for a run. Oh, that was an image.
I mean, Nathan, think about taking a shower. I'm not even going to elaborate.
Yeah, no, just thinking about taking a shower makes me break out in hives. Oh my God. But I guess on the island of isolation, I could always have time to myself.
Yeah.
But I would only have time to myself, and I could never stay in the same place. I'd never be secure in one place. That is a really tricky one, because it's the rest of my life. There's no escaping this island.
No.
I either live the rest of my life isolated and on the move, never able to stay in the same place for long, or secure, safe, surrounded by good people, good conversations, but never ever having a moment to myself, never ever having a millimeter of space to myself. Like people are basically shoulder to shoulder with me at all times.
You are cheek to cheek with everyone.
Am I dancing?
They are just pressed up against your cheek, like their eyes looking at you constantly. It's like a cartoon.
It's like, what it is I'm standing in the middle and there's a circle of people all pressed up against me, all their eyes looking at me. When they have a conversation with you, they're constantly looking at you, staring right at you.
I mean, their eyes almost touching you. They're that close.
Oh, God. I mean, I was thinking for a second there that was preferable to being isolated forever, but some of these imagery.
If you're isolated and you're missing friendship or companionship, you could always do a Castaway and make your own Wilson.
Draw a face on a
pineapple.
Coconut.
Yeah.
Was that a pineapple?
In the film, it was an old football, I think.
Oh yeah, it was, wasn't it? I remembered it being a round thing.
Yeah, but you can use a coconut. No one's stopping you.
Oh, you mean I could be friends with a coconut? My lifelong dream.
Yeah. Do you know what? On this podcast, I do some really nice things sometimes, and this episode, I have allowed you to be friends with a coconut, and I think that says a lot about how generous I am.
I mean, I think either one would drive me insane. Never ever being able to breathe on my own, always having people breathing on me, feeling their breath on me.
Their warm, stinky breath.
Or being isolated forever, having to move around forever. That is a tricky one, Carl. You've really put me in quite a Kiwi conundrum.
Ah, yes. Quite the quizzical quiche.
Oh, quizzical quiche is better than a query quiche.
I had to make it relevant.
A bewildering banana. But, I mean, yes, we could...
A pickling pineapple.
Pickling?
A pickling pineapple.
This is quite a pickling pineapple you've got us into this time.
We should just use these phrases in everyday conversation as if like people should know them, and just see if anyone's
when they don't know what they are, look at them like they're complete and utter idiots.
Just like, you've never heard of a pickling pineapple? That's a very common phrase.
My dad used to say it all the time.
Yeah, just act as if like everyone knows these phrases. Maybe that's a challenge we'll give our listeners. Just go out and use these phrases in everyday conversations and try and act as normal as possible.
I mean, that's more of a challenge actually. Considering this podcast and the kind of people that would listen to us, I think the challenge of try to act as normal as possible is more of a challenge. But going back to this pickling pineapple that I've gotten myself into.
Yeah.
I got confused then for a second then, because I thought the object was a pickle. I was like, a pickling pickle. That doesn't make much sense.
A pickling pickle.
Actually, that works quite well. I like pickling pickle.
It's a bit on the nose, but yeah, it does work.
Anyway, this pickling pickle I've got myself into is really quite tough. I think, on balance, the one that would drive me mad the least, or at least drive me mad the slowest, is the island of the, what did you call it?
Digital media zombies.
Digital media zombies, yes.
Yeah.
Because at least I'd have personal space. At least I'd be able to move around freely. Whereas on the island of personal space invaders, every movement you make is coordinated with 20 other people, and you're kind of constantly up against someone. Yeah,
I mean, on the isolation side of things, on the zombie island, you could become like a Rambo type character. You could make yourself a spear. You could set out to go around killing these mindless zombie creatures.
I think of myself more as a Tarzan than a Rambo, swinging from tree to tree.
There you go. You could learn tree swinging. You've got all this time on your hands now.
Exactly, and as everyone knows, tree swinging is pretty easy to pick up.
Yeah. Especially if Tarzan and George of the Jungle are anything to go by.
Exactly. If they've taught me anything, then...
So yeah, you're going to live out the rest of your life on Digital Media Zombie Island.
It's a mouthful, isn't it?
It is. Everything I've come up with today has been quite difficult to say. Next week it's just going to be, do you want to hide in a box or a cupboard? A nice easy scenario and a nice easy thing for me to say.
Oh, I see. That's why you were going to make it that so it's easy and simple.
Yeah, for me. I don't care about you.
Well, knowing us, it would be, do you want to hide in an impossible box or a upside down cupboard? Well, actually, an upside down cupboard is just a cupboard, isn't it? It doesn't make much difference.
Yeah, you're still standing the right way up. Unless someone's tipped it while you were in it.
I mean, yeah, we're really going off on a tangent there. I think, definitely Digital Media Island is Digital Media Zombie Island is the way for me to go. It's the isolation would drive me mad, but I would go mad within 10 minutes of being surrounded by people breathing on me, holding my hand, their hands in my pockets, standing cheek to cheek with everyone.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I just thought about like going to the bathroom, like we said before.
Yeah.
Like if you had to go to the urinal, there's like 10 men there, and they're all assisting each other, aiming.
Yeah, no, they all have to help each other out. They always want to be in constant contact with each other.
I mean, that alone has convinced me, definitely not to go to that island.
So there you go. Everyone at home knows that if you're ever in this scenario Nathan's got himself into this week.
Like, we're kidnapped by a cantankerous old young teenage boy, and his life partner, a magical little
waistcoat-wearing rabbit.
Yeah, if you ever get into that situation, which is pretty easy to fall into, honestly, we've all been there, haven't we? We've all made mortal enemies with an old teenage boy and a rabbit.
Yeah, we've all kicked over a garden gnome in our time.
Yeah, exactly.
So everyone knows.
Again, this seems like the stealing a newspaper. This seems like a disproportionate response to kicking over a garden gnome, banishing me to an island for the rest of time.
There you go. That's just Mr. Winters' MO, I suppose.
It really is. He's not a patient soul.
No, he's quite an irrational guy. Just something like that. His garden gnome gets kicked over, and he hatches this entire plan.
Right, time. And that happened like 6 months ago.
Yeah, it was quite a long time ago.
He needed time to save up to buy a private plane to meet.
He didn't already have this jet.
No. He got this specifically for it. In fact, he built the plane.
He built the plane from scratch just to get you back. So yeah, everyone knows, go to the isolation island.
That is correct. I think we've done a great service here for humanity and protecting them from the dangers of that we all face, being kidnapped by your teenage boy, old man, next door nemesis, and his little magical bunny partner. You, Kyle, well, you know what's happened to you?
I might do. I've done so many things this week, but yeah.
You really have. You've lived such an eventful life. That's why I have to.
Yeah, which one in particular are you talking about?
It wasn't the time you got turned into a goat, or had your brain switched with a baboon. No. The really eventful thing that happened to you, Kyle, was when you were having a nice bubbly bath with your good friend Rubber Ducky and your mistress, the octopus. You were nice and bubbly, subby and soaky.
Suds.
That's it.
Suddy.
Subby. The bath was filled with Subway sandwiches.
Oh, nice. So I'm bathing in Subways with a duck and an octopus. Okay, I'm with you. I remember this day.
Oh yeah, I mean it's easy to forget. It's kind of a normal thing. You were having this nice bath. You were scrubbing yourself clean,
taking a bite of a fact sandwich.
Yes, nice juicy fact sandwich filled with deluxe facts and extra slices of facts with some grilled facts on the side.
Best way to have having a bath full of fact sandwiches.
Now that's a saying, Kyle.
Oh, last night I had a bath full of fact sandwiches.
Yes, you were having this nice suddy experience with Rubber Ducky and what's the name of the octopus? Maureen. When suddenly there was an earthquake, a flood, a tornado, and it was a little bit nippy out. It was just, I know, it's terrible, isn't it? And your bathtub crashes out the window with you in it, and you are flung down the street, torn up into the tornado, thrown across the country. You swing past Dorothy on her way her way out of Kansas, and you get flung into a nuclear power plant.
Oh, thought I was going to turn up in Oz.
They just happened to open the windows to air it out a bit. They were, having a bit of a spring clean when you fly through the window and you are bombarded with deadly radiation, horribly burnt and affected forever. And even worse, your bath is ruined, Kyle.
All of my fact sandwiches are all over the floor.
Exactly. All your facts.
Scattered across the country.
Exactly. And do you know what's happened to you, Kyle?
Cannot for the life of me remember.
The radiation has transformed you.
Oh,
yes.
It
has mutated you and disfigured you and melted half your face and you've got a hand growing out of your chest, but that's kind of normal stuff. It wasn't even worth bringing that up, to be honest.
You expect that with a bit of good radiation, yeah.
Exactly, yeah, a bit of nice radiation. But the really weird thing that happened was that you were given amazing psychic powers.
Nice.
as we all know, when it comes to psychic powers, there are two options. This is just science.
Yeah,
you
everyone
can
knows
either
it.
see every potential future or read everyone's mind all the time.
So these are my two options. I could see every potential future or read everyone's mind all the time.
Exactly. There's no getting away from it. You can't turn this power off.
Mm-hmm.
It's constant. So you will live the rest of your life. You can still see as normal, but more like a mental image. You can see all the possible variations and permutations that can happen in the future. You can see that if you kick that stone, it could go across and create a ripple, and that ripple could spread across the river, and that ripple could move the boat across, and the boat could move into an island, and the island could catch on fire. And all the ducks would start flying. Just all the normal reactions and permutations.
So I'm not just seeing the future of my life. I'm seeing the future of absolutely everything.
Oh yes, you are seeing the future of absolutely everything, not just your life.
The consequences of my actions that impact the world for the rest of eternity.
Exactly. You're seeing the consequences of every action you ever make. Every action you make in any one place, you close a door, you will see what will happen to that door for the rest of time.
Wow, so that's a lot of burden, because I would be scared to do anything in the fear that in 10,000 years someone's going to be affected by that.
I know. You'd be afraid if you
the ripples. I mean, the butterfly effect. It's like the butterfly effect, but I'm seeing it happen before my eyes. I know it's going to happen before I do it.
You could see what could happen. Like when you go to make a soup, you could either in 20 years' time it could lead to world peace and everything is fine and perfect and happy and lovely, or we all eat each other and rip each other's faces off in 5 minutes.
All because of my leek and potato.
Exactly.
God, that is a burden. But also, knowing all
you will always hear what people are thinking. Everyone around you, and not just one at a time, anyone in anyone in the county near you.
Oh, so it's not like there's a sphere around me and it's that, the people in that area. It's literally everyone in the county at once.
No, it's the sphere thing. That works much better.
That works much better. Okay.
Mapping it geographically doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, I did think you might have fact checked that a little wrong. So yeah,
I know. I needed that dose of fact sandwich that you gave me there. Thank you, Carl.
Yeah, another fact sandwich for the viewers at home. So it's everyone within 5 miles of me or 5 meters of me, or is it sort of like a big bubble around me and then anyone who's in that bubble?
I mean, I don't know enough about meters to know. Miles is further, isn't it? It's definitely further. Yes, it's definitely further. Don't even answer that question, Carl. I know the answer to that question. I shouldn't have even asked that question.
Would you say it would be about the length of the street that I lived in?
Yes, exactly.
About so I could hear every single person in their house in my street at the same time.
That's it, exactly.
Would the people closer to me be louder?
No. It would all be the same volume, but you could tell who's who.
Okay, and I could understand. It wouldn't just be like loads of garbled voices.
No, you'd
together.
understand it all. You'd understand it all.
See, that's fairly useful if I can understand, if I know what people are thinking, because, you can work the casinos, you can know what the dealer has, you can make money that way.
Seeing all potential futures is pretty useful for working the casinos as well.
Yeah, both of these powers are good ways to get me money.
Which is the first thing you should do if you're given amazing psychic powers.
Is try and find the benefit for yourself. Yeah.
You could read the mind. You could either read the mind of a little old lady and see which one is most likely to be seduced and for you to gold dig.
Yes.
Or you can see the future and see which one is most likely for you to gold dig.
Some people might say you get superpowers, use them for good, use them to help the world. But no, the first thing you should do is help yourself. I think
that is a message we can all get behind.
Yeah, that is number one fact sandwich for the episode.
Voted the number one fact sandwich in the country.
That'll be on the back of the DVD case. But the problem I'm thinking with being able to read everyone's mind not everyone thinks favourably of me.
What?
Yeah, you might not believe it, but some people...
That's impossible.
It is impossible. Some people might not like me, and I would hear that they don't like me.
Oh.
And I would,
But
like,
surely
even,
most of the thoughts you'd hear, Carl, would be, oh, isn't Carl amazing? Isn't he wonderful? Isn't he the best person in the world? God, I think he's amazing.
I mean, yeah, that's what I would expect.
There'd be a couple of people that'd be like, he's all right.
Oh.
I mean, hearing that kind of nasty abuse, I don't know how you'd cope with it.
So, I mean, to your face, people are usually very nice, aren't they? In Britain,
they are.
They have to be. It's socially.
In Britain, you usually have to try and detect the passive-aggressive tones to
Yeah.
realise what people actually mean, whereas the words they're saying are usually quite polite.
I mean, old Bob would come up to me in the street and be, "Oh, hi, Kyle, how are you doing?" And I would hear in his head, "You bastard, I hate your guts." And I would be shocked.
You always call me old Bob? I'm only 5 years older than you.
And he would despise me, and I would become so self-conscious because
Did you steal his newspaper, Carl?
I did.
Oh my God!
Don't tell him.
Okay, I won't tell him. It's a good thing he can't read your mind.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm going to be in the same situation you were in. So yeah, I've become so self-conscious, knowing what everyone thinks of me, and being like, right, I'm going to change to appease them and do things that they like of me, and I would drive myself mad.
But then the problem would be one person would be like, oh, Kyle's so boring, he needs to wear more jazzy clothes, and then another person would think, Kyle's clothes are too jazzy, and then you'd be stuck not knowing what to wear.
They're so jazzy today. I would be yo-yoing between jazziness. I would have to get one of those suits that's half jazzy, half completely grey.
What, like Two-Face from the old Batman movie? We've got a suit that's got two different colours.
Exactly. I mean, I have got superpowers now, so I could be. I guess I'm a supervillain.
Basically.
A supervillain. No, well, I guess I'm not a supervillain because I'm trying to please people still. Let's go back to the other scenario. So I can see every possible future. So surely, if I can see all the different possible futures, I know which thing to do to make the good future happen, even if it doesn't benefit me in the short term.
Not necessarily. You can see every possible future. You don't know for certain which future is the future that's actually going to happen. You can just see all the possible futures.
Oh, I just see all the possible futures. And there would be lots.
There would be at least 5.
Yeah, I would see a lot of things.
An uncalculable number, like 10.
Yeah. Yeah, because everyone knows that the butterfly effect, you do one thing and it could mean up to 3, 4, 5 things at a time.
Yeah, exactly.
Change. So
the butterfly effect is when you smack someone in the face with a butterfly, and all the possible things that can happen after that.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know how the first scenario would help me in any way. It would just
seeing all possible futures.
Yeah, because it would make me paranoid. I wouldn't know which was going to be the future anyway, so it wouldn't really make much difference to my life, other than I would know all of these possible futures.
No, that's true. You would kind of be paralysed by all the possibilities.
And knowing that I can't change any of them either. I can't pick which one I get. So it's like, it doesn't matter what I do.
But you don't know which one will lead to what outcome.
Would I not just be trapped? Like the first time I try and do one thing, it's like, oh, if I did that, then this would happen. But that splits into me doing these 4 things. And then those 4 things split into another 4 things each.
Exactly, Kyle. Basically for infinity.
Yeah, so I would just be stood there for the rest of my life. So I think that would paralyse me. But even the other scenario is not great. I can read everyone's mind. I know what everyone thinks of me. But I think I'm going to have take on this burden, Nathan.
Which burden?
The burden of hearing what people really think of me. Because otherwise, I'm just going to be trapped in this endless, infinite loop of seeing all these possible futures play out in front of my eyes until I die.
I suppose, but you'd also never not hear people's thoughts. People are always thinking. Except in the pub. But everywhere else, people are always thinking.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to get to sleep easily. I would probably end up in a mental institution because I've got voices in my head. And anytime someone comes to see me, I would just hear more voices.
Oh, but if you were in a mental institution, Carl, you'd hear the voices in other people's heads.
Oh, wow. Maybe I could help them out.
I mean, it's more likely they would unhelp you than you helping them.
They might make me worse. This just sounds like an episode of Legion now. But yeah, I think I mean either scenario, I'm screwed. I'm either in an infinite loop or I am in a mental institution. But I can't even say to save my sanity I'll go to the mental institution because that makes no sense. That's the opposite of a fact sandwich.
I mean, it's a real pickling pickle you've gotten yourself into, isn't it, Carl?
That's a what would be the opposite of a fact sandwich?
An unknowable umbrella?
Yeah, that would be an unknowable umbrella.
I was trying to think of things that began with U. Like I thought of unknowable, and then I was trying to think of something that began with U, and I couldn't think of any food that began with a U. I can't think of anything. No, there's nothing. My brain. If you could read my mind right now, Carl, you'd hear nothing. So which one have you chosen? Sorry.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna read everyone's mind.
Ah, so you can hear the nothing.
I can hear nothing. On this Skype call, Nathan, I can hear absolutely nothing. It's beautiful, it's bliss. Like, up until today, I've been wandering around hearing all these horrible voices in my head. I've been screaming, please stop. And I came on this Skype call and I hear nothing. It's beautiful. It's, it's as if the person I'm talking to, there's just nothing up there, and it's just bliss. It really is.
I mean, it's real peaceful for me, I gotta tell you.
Yeah, I mean, you're living it. It must be great. So there you go. If you're ever in a nuclear, what was it?
You were in a bathtub that got flown into a nuclear power plant, Kyle.
Yeah. So if that ever happens to you, you know to go for the mind reading powers, because seeing every alternative future is really not worth it.
I mean, it might have been worth it if you'd got this power, seeing all the futures before you got into that bathtub, because then you would have known that getting into the bathtub would lead to you getting psychic powers.
I would know that would be one possible option.
That is true. The other possible option could have been that you became president of the Earth.
Yeah, which I was.
Or the other possible option was you could have eaten a banana.
Yeah.
The possibilities are endless.
The other option was that I would become a goat. And I think that did happen to me this week as well. So, you know.
I mean, it can never happen too many times.
No, I can't tell you the amount of times I've become a goat in my lifetime, and you've had to perform the that ritual to bring me back.
The surgery.
Yeah, the surgery to de-goat someone.
Because we didn't mention, we said we went to different universities. I studied de-goating.
Yeah. There we go. That's another phrase.
That's what I've got my degree in.
Like this episode, I don't think we've so much done facts as new phrases, and de-goating
we've done fact sandwiches.
Yeah, and de-goating is definitely a new phrase that people should use in their everyday life.
It's a very new field. It's a new form of medicine that's been invented about 5 seconds ago.
Yeah.
And I've already got a degree in it. That's how smart I am, Kyle. I am the local de-goatologist.
If you disagree with any of our fact sandwiches today, then let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the episode, then please follow and subscribe to the podcast on Patreon. You can find it at patreon.com/ifyouhadto, though, where you can find all the newest episodes with more being posted up all the time. And you can follow me on Twitter at Kyle M. Bennett. That's Kyle_M_Bennett with 2 N's and 2 T's.
And you can follow me at NWozniakArt, which is NWOZNIAKART.
That was very nice.
I don't know why I said that in such a strange way.
You said that like a TV presenter. Like
I felt like I should be able to turn it into some kind of song. Now, that number again, that phrase again is NWOZNIAK. I forgot how to spell my own name there.
Yeah, it was like you were trying to sell used cars on TV or something. Come down to Nathan's House of Cars.
House of Cars?
Yeah, it's like a play on House of Cards, but you're selling cars.
I'm not selling houses.
You're selling a house with cars inside. It's a house filled with cars.
I'm selling a house. I'm selling both a house and a car, neither one of which is usable for the thing they're designed for.
No,
you can't get the car out of the house.
No,
and you can't get into the house because there's a car in there.
Yeah, well, there's a few cars in there. It's a house of cars.
I mean, this is like a ship in a bottle type situation.
Yeah, how did you do it? No one knows.
Exactly.
You must have dollhoused it. You just made 2 halves of a house and then glued it together once the car was inside.
I was thinking like the ship in a bottle thing, where you had like little sticks and you're building the ship inside the bottle.
You could take the parts of the car inside and then assemble it once you had all the parts.
That sounds simple enough. I've
But
just got a big stick.
unfortunately, you can't do any of that because you're currently running for your life on digital media
Meteor
zombie
Island.
island.
I know. I mean, I've found the one spot on the island that has signal for us to have this conversation. But I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to run away again in a second because all the zombies will find it in a minute.
Yeah, it's all right. I'll be able to track you down with my new mind reading powers. And
That's such a relief.
I'll fly down using my own private jet that I acquired through reading people's minds and gaining lots of money somehow.
You've got a private jet, and Mr. Winters has a private jet. I'm seeing a conspiracy here, Kyle. Are you in cahoots with Mr. Winters?
Yeah, I want you to owe me a favour, so that's why I'm going to come rescue you. I paid him off to do this.
I mean, that explains that glorious moustache you've been building.
Building? Yeah.
Yes.
My moustache is made of Lego.
Well, you couldn't grow one for real. It's the only way to do it.
I just walk around with yellow Lego bricks on my face.
Why yellow, Kyle? Why not black or brown? Your hair colour is like brunette.
I am a busty brunette.
You are.
I don't know. All I had was yellow bricks, and I thought, I can't go out of the house without having a glorious moustache.
Oh, absolutely not. I don't know how anyone does it.
No.
It should be a crime to leave the house without a curly moustache.
Yes, it should definitely be a crime to leave the house without a curly
I was trying
moustache.
to figure out how you would say not. Like, it should be a crime not to leave the house without a big moustache. Does that work?
There's too many words in that. That's like
okay, hold on. Let me make it a bit simpler.
Okay.
It shouldn't not be a crime to not get a moustache that is not on your face. Not.
This has been If You Had To, though. I've been Kyle.
And I've been Nathan. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Ooh.